take out your time and chant in the with inspire, right? Chanting in the group inspires each other. So we'll chant one round and pray to Lord Krishna that we become a sincere devotee. We chant with our heart and always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. You can also unmute and chant together. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram
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 Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram
Ram Ram Hare
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 Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram
Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
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 Ram Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Ram
Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare Ram
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare Ram
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Ram
Hare Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram
Krishna Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Ram Ram
Hare Ram
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
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 Ram,
Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Ram Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna
Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Ram
Ram, Ram, Ram,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Ram,
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare Ram
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare, Ram, Ram,
Ram
Ram,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram
Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
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 Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram, Ram,
Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram
Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram, Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Hare Hare Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram Hare
Ram, Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
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 Krishna,
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 Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram, Hare
Ram
Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
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 Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram, Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram Hare
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 Ram,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
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 Ram
Ram,
Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Ram,
Hare Hare Ram Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
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 Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Ram,
Ram 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 Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram,
Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram,
Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Ram,
Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna, Hare Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much, dear friends, devotees, for joining. Avni, Vedahi, Bionto, Kabir, Vanita, Thar, and Karina. Hare Krishna. If possible, you can turn on your camera. That will help. Okay, today is Saturday, October 5th, right? And today we'll talk about we'll continue the 24 Guru session. Is it okay? We have completed, I think, 5 or 4 sessions so far in this series. And there are so many lessons from all these people or personalities, and today we'll continue more in that journey. Is that okay? I see Ruhi has also joined. Hare Krishna, Ruhi, thank you for joining. So we'll offer some prayers. And last week we learned a new prayer. I posted in the group also. So I hope some of you got a chance to see, and maybe you'll try to memorize it also. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Anyone recalls this prayer? Okay. Kabir was present in the last class. Did you memorize it, Kabir?
Kind of.
Okay, try.
I kind of forgot a bit. I might need the see the verses one more time.
Okay, no worries. So everyone please try to memorize this prayer, okay? It's very simple, simple words. So let's offer prayers to our Guru Parampara and then we'll begin the discussion. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarini Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatmaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Granthirarambha Kori Mangalacharana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana Hoya Bhigana Vinasha Anayasa Sapal Nijavanshita Purana Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Chananda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankajanabhaya Namaha Pankajamalini Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangriye Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Who remembers the Krishna Balaram verse? Anyone would like to recite? This was from the previous weeks. Anyone recalls the Krishna Balaram verse? Trying hard, huh? Yes, Avni.
I remember most of it, but there may be like a few that I miss. But I'll try.
Yes, go ahead.
Jaladhara Shashivarna Kopavesho Kishoro Sahachara Ganavrinde Kridamanu Vajesho Natavarajita Vesho Nitapila no Nilapitambaradyo Jagata Janana Hetu Ramakrishno Natosmi.
Excellent. Wonderful. Anyone else? Okay, please review that also, right? Most of you have memorized it. And then memorize the Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. So these two verses, please review. And once you review something, you try to repeat it. Otherwise, we'll forget it, right? So back to the 24 Gurus. Today is session number 5. So we talked about the different types of gurus, right? Although we'll do a quick revision. I'll just flip through these, right? So who is talking to whom? Avadut Brahmana is talking to Yadu Maharaj. And who is Yadu Maharaj? The Yadav, right? The Yadav is in the same dynasty. The King Yadu is in the Lord Krishna appeared in this dynasty. At least this much we can recall, right? Then we did different gurus: earth, right? Tolerance, patience, air, right? Sky, water, to be truthful, pleasing, fire, moon, different phases, sun, we learned. We learned from the pigeon, you remember? We read that story. To not be overly attached. Python, right? Sea, we learned. Ocean. I hope you recall some of these. Then the last time, for some of you were not present, you had some event. Moth, right? So from moth, we learned that the moth is very attached to the fire. It goes in the fire, but it ends up getting burned in the fire, right? He sees the fire or the light. Have you seen some tiny insects get trapped by the light, right? So moth, they're allured by something and they get burned by that. Then we learn from the bumblebee and the honeybee. Mhm. They collect nectar from different places and then build a hive, right? And then finally the honey thief comes and takes it away. So there are good things to learn from honeybee and bad things to learn, right? Honeybee is also a bad thing to learn is like over accumulating, right? They build such big, big hives sometimes, right? So one should not over accumulate. Saving is fine, but not over, because what will happen? Yes, Vidhi?
Oh, I had a question. What was the ninth one? I don't think I heard that one. The
What
ninth
was
guru?
the ninth guru?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I maybe did a wrong number or something. Let's go to the Bhagavatam. So this is in the chapter into 11, chapter 8 and 9. I think the bumblebee and the honeybee, yeah, these are the two different gurus. From the bumblebee, the instruction is to collect small from different households. Hmm. And the instruction received from the honeybee is that the mendicant should not save more food than required. Okay, so I missed the bumblebee here. I should have made 2 instead of 1. So good that you are hearing and reading so attentively. So I have missed 1 here. So here we can add 13th, 14th, this elephant. So honeybee and bumblebee. Is it okay? So we'll add 1 here. Let's go to the previous chapter and see what's mentioned in text number 7. Okay, the earth. Here is the text: the earth, the wind, the sky, the water, the fire, and so on. So in this chapter, we have, I believe, till fire in that chapter 7. Okay. Honeybee, bumblebee. I think that doubt is clear now. Okay. Moth. Okay. But we don't need to be lazy. This is something Prabhupada always emphasized. Prabhupada used to share this in a joking mood. Big, big monkey, big, big belly. Ceylon jumping, melancholy. What does that mean? Who would like to elaborate? How many of you know this word melancholy? Anyone? Yes, Vedi, what does it mean?
It means like you're sad and tired all the time, kind of.
Yeah, in this context, lazy. Oh, maybe we'll do it later. So who's going to elaborate this? Big monkey, big belly, Ceylon jumping, melancholy. You know Ceylon? Ceylon is a place in Sri Lanka. It is very famous for some herbs like cinnamon. Hmm? You may have sometimes heard Ceylon's cinnamon. So Ceylon is in short a place in Sri Lanka. Hmm? Okay, now can you try? Actually, Sri Lanka was historically known as Ceylon. Now can you try to elaborate? Big monkey, big belly, Ceylon jumping, or Sri Lanka jumping, melancholy. Who would like to try? Now it's not that hard. Now you know. Think of monkey jumping, Lanka, Sri Lanka, Ceylon. Yes, Beyonto.
That nursery that goes like three little monkeys jumping on the bed.
I didn't get you. What?
There's this nursery that goes like three little monkeys jumping on the bed.
No, not really. So we all know the story of Hanuman, how enthusiastic he was to jump over the ocean, right? Everyone has heard this story, right? And he to search for Mother Sita. But sometimes someone may be very enthusiastic to eat, but when the time comes to act, right? The belly is big. Belly big means too much eating. But when the time comes, hey, can you do this task? Ceylon jumping. Can you jump to, oh, melancholy, I'm tired. But for eating, they're very enthusiastic, right? They're not tired to eat, but they're tired to work. So we should not be like that. Mm. It was just a humorous story. Um, so then we learned about the pigeon, right? To not be over attached to anything. We learned from the moth, the humblebee. Sorry, I combined the honey and the bumble. The honeybee and the bumblebee. Hmm? It's nice to be humble bee, right? And then we learn from the elephant also. Hmm? So we have five senses, and there are five gurus in this connection. So the moth, we learned the sense of sight, right? They see something and they're very attracted to it, and they fall in trap, correct? Now the elephant touches the she elephant, and then she is trained, right? I made this last time. She is trained. There's a ditch here. The male elephant, the female elephant, or like a doll elephant, the elephant touches, the she is trained to kind of cross over, but the male elephant comes and falls in this ditch. And that's how they get, trapped. Hmm. So the sense of touch, skin. There are few more gurus which have the deer. We'll jump to the deer. The deer is very enamored by the sense of hearing, right? So the hunter plays music, and the deer is infatuated by that music, and that's how the hunter tries to catch the deer. Mm. So what can we learn from the deer? Any thoughts? What can we learn from the deer? Yes, Vinita.
To always listen attentively.
To always listen attentively to good sounds, right? Because if we hear something attentively to the sounds which are not very good, then we will get trapped by the hunter. You know, in these days, have you been to some places like shopping malls and stuff where they play like passionate music? Hmm? Why is that so? So that they make us, buy things which is we may not be even requiring it, but we become trapped and we end up doing those things, right? Has anyone experienced that in their lives? Hmm? The sense of hearing. So the sense of touch, elephant. Sense of sight, which is the example? The moth, right? The moth sees the fire or the light, rushes towards it, and is dead. So if you see, all of them are basically dying or getting killed by their sense. Right? That's the point here, right? The moth, sight. The elephant, skin, touch. The deer, ear, right? The fish, the taste. How are fishes captured? Hmm? Yes, Kabir?
You put a worm on a hook and then you throw the fishing rod in, and then the fish comes towards the worm, not knowing there's a hook on the worm, eats it, and then you get a tiny tug and then you pull it out of the water.
Mhm. Have you seen others doing it, or how do you know so well?
I've seen others do it and I've done it once.
Okay. Are you still doing it?
No, I don't do it anymore.
Good, good. Yeah, please don't do it anymore. Even because this is like, imagine, these people, why they fish? Or they like it, right? They say, oh, it's my hobby, deer hunting, fishing, etc. Some people do it. But think about a poor animal, right? Fish, a poor fish. She's thinking, just imagine we are a fish inside the water. Okay? She's thinking some more intelligent person, these human beings, God has given them more intelligence, and they're so kind, and they're giving me food. I'm so grateful. And the fish goes towards that food, right? Whatever that piece of food is. Hmm? And what happens? The fish, the human beings are not giving food. The human beings are taking her life. They're so selfish, right? They take her life. They make her feel that, oh, I'm giving you something. But indirectly, they're taking her life away. Just imagine how would we feel if someone gives us, oh, dear child, I got a nice cake for you, and or a nice pizza, like whatever our tongue likes, right? Or a nice ice cream. Hmm? Child is innocent. Child does not know much. Child thinks maybe this person is trying to give me something nice. The child eats that, and this crooked person has what has he done? He's put poison in that food, or he has put some chloroform or something to make us unconscious, the child, and kidnap the child. What do you think? This person is very good and gentle? This is hypocrisy, right? The person is trying, oh, I got a cake for you. That's what the fishes must be thinking. That's what the whole thing is about, is it not? Are you able to relate the two things? They're kind of same, right? So one should never voluntarily, we should never cause harm to anyone, any creature, any human being, any animal, any fish. We should not voluntarily cause any harm. So, but the point we learned, the fish are trapped by the sense of, who's going to complete it? Yes, Vedi?
Taste.
Sense of taste. Nice. So we have to be careful, and it leads to her death. Correct? It leads to her death, is it not? So you have to be very, very careful. Let's see. So the deer, right? And then the fish. Let's take the next example. The honey thief. I'm going to share my screen now. This is chapter number 8. Okay. The honeybee takes the nectar from different flowers, small or big. The saintly person takes the nectar from different things, or the essence. We have covered this one also, that one should not imitate the greedy honeybee and collect more and more and more and more, right? Collecting more and more and more, there's no end. There are stories that how things can become a problem. I'll share a story of, I believe it was Rupa Goswami, who was traveling with one of his assistants. And, in the old days, when people would travel, they had to pay like gold coins or taxes in the form of coins, gold coins, silver coins, etc. And they were, most people were nice, but there are always some crooked people. So Rupa Goswami told, hey, don't carry anything. Don't carry anything, any coin, anything. So they had a lot of gold coins, about 100, left everything behind, but this servant carried 2, just in case, just in case we may need. And Rupa Goswami strictly had told, don't carry any coins. It was Rupa Goswami or Sanatan Goswami, I believe, one of the Goswamis. And then they were passing through a town. And then the town, there was a kind of a ashram, or there was a place to rest, right? Where the host gave excellent reception, because someone told the host that these people are carrying 2 gold coins. And then what did the host? The host gave a warm reception. So the plan was, when they're night, they're sleeping, we'll kill them and we will take the 2 gold coins. The great sage, Sanatan Goswami, was very, very intelligent. He kind of got something doesn't look right. We are strangers. Why are they giving such a warm reception? He asked his servant, hey, I told you very clearly. Looks like you're still carrying coins. What did he say? Yes, I kept most of it there when we started, but I'm still carrying these 2. He said, bring those out. Give this to these people. Because they had some powers. They knew that these people are carrying 2 coins. And they said, "Oh, sir, these 2 coins are for you." And the host said, "Oh, thank you. Our plan was to kill you tonight. Glad you brought it yourself." Right? Now think of, my dear friends, in your life, think of, first let's do a summary of these points. We'll do a quick summary. So who's the guru and which sense, right? So like the elephant, we learned how he's trapped by the sense of touch, skin. The moth, how is he captured or entrapped or killed? How he dies? Sight, right? How about the fish? Taste, excellent. Taste, right? That's how people do fishing. What about the deer? Sound or hearing. So what's left now? What is left? Smell. Smell. Yeah, I don't think we have an example here for smell, but the deer is also known to be captured by smell also. Okay. In this 24, I don't think there's an example for smell, but there are many creatures who are, yes, we want to?
Wouldn't a dog be one that could be like captured by smell?
Maybe they are captivated, but it doesn't, I'm not sure if that leads to its destruction. They have a very strong sense of smell. That's absolutely correct. Okay. So, but there are many animals, who are captured by smell, right? Like food, like ants, right? Hmm? They can the taste and the smell both work, right? Like you leave some sugar particles, they'll smell, they'll send the signal, and then all the ants will follow. Now think of in human beings what happens, right? Let's read this verse. 2.67, 65, 66, or 64, 65, most of you know. Let's read the 67. Who's going to read this? Yes, Avani?
Hare Krishna. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence.
Even one of the wandering senses. So in a human being, in these animals, one sense is predominant, right? But in human beings, we are captivated by eyes, by ears, by touch, by smell, is it not? Now think of some experience in your life, right? Think of some experience in your life where you were captivated by any of those or a combination of those. And then you realized it was not for your good. For example, you were just giving example, like you thought, oh, I really want to have that ice cream, right? And you ended up having that ice cream. But what happened? You got a bad cold or fever or something, right? Similarly, it could be sense of other hearing, smelling, etc. Can you think of an example? Everyone, please think of an example. And if it's not so personal, I would love to hear one or two examples. Does everyone have some example? Try to think of where you did something which was not very healthy for your body or for your mind, for your senses, for your welfare. Yes, Vedi?
One time, I guess I was just really hungry and we were having pizza somewhere. So normally I only eat like 2 to 3 slices. But I was really hungry, so I had four. But then my stomach started hurting after, so I realized that wasn't a good idea to have eaten that many.
Hmm. Maybe because it was you like pizza. It was if it was something like rice and dal, you would have only taken like the quantity which was required to fill the belly, right? But since it was stimulating to the tongue, you ended up taking more than the normal quota. Right? I think that food example applies to most of us, if not all of us, right? Or we end up eating something which is, like preyas. It feels good, but it causes health issues. There are a lot of things like that. Hmm? Any other examples anyone would like to share? Okay, Kabir, what's on your mind?
One time, me and my friend were trading Pokemon cards, and so one of my strongest Pokemon cards, I offered to trade him for one of his strongest Pokemon cards, which was eventually stronger than mine. So once we traded and he went, once I showed it to one of my other friends, he told me that it was fake and I had fallen for a trick.
Hmm. Okay. I didn't get that full story because I'm not so familiar how Pokemon cards work, but I think you got the lesson, right? That don't fall for something. It may seem, I'll tell you how I fell for something like way back. I was in India. This guy was selling pen drives, right? This like it was like a shell of pen drive packed in a nice casing, and he was giving it for like 50 rupees. Yeah, first he gave us like 100 rupees and then he said, okay, I'll do it for like 50 rupees for you. I said, what? Really? Why so cheap? Um, that's like less than $1. Um, because generally it costs like maybe 500 rupees, like 10 times. I didn't want to buy. I sensed it was something wrong, so not right, but still I fell for that trick, right? And I ended up buying and I realized, oh, it was just like a plastic. There's nothing in there, like the thumb drive. This is a plastic packed in a nice covering. So all that glitters is not gold. All that which seems good for us is not always good. So be careful, my dear friends. Hmm? We learn from all these things like the elephant, the fish, the deer. Be careful. It's the mind which is tricking, right? Sometimes we go in the mall, we may be tempted to buy something because of the environment, the flashy lights, the flashy music, and everyone is buying. Like, say you go to like a shoe store, right? What are people doing in the shoe store? People are buying shoes. And then sometimes we may not even need, we will end up buying one, two, three. Hmm? Any comments there? Okay, so let's continue the 24 gurus further. And we'll read some texts as well. The Then there is a guru. Her name is Pingala. Hmm? She is a lady, not of noble character, uh, who, you know, use their body to earn income. I hope some of you understand that. So basically, she was thinking, oh, customer will come he'll give me money, she'll give me money, etc., etc. And then as a result, she was trapped, right? Being dependent on others. So the more one feels that, okay, he's going to help me, he's going to help me, the more we will be suffering, right? Does that make sense? So the idea is we have to get out of our comfort zone and not be dependent on others. Depend on Guru and Krishna, because that's what is going to help us. That's what is going to take us out from the clutches of material world. And in the previous context, the tongue is the most difficult of all the senses. So in the purport it's mentioned, if one is able to control the tongue, then one is understood to be in full control of all the senses. And tongue has two functions, namely, what are the two things tongue does? Yes, Mishti?
The tongue is used like to eat and also to talk.
To talk and to eat, right? And most of the difficulties happen because of these two things, right? We end up speaking something we should not speak, or we end up eating something we should not eat. We end up over speaking, or we end up overeating. Has anyone experienced that? And it ends up in problem like over speaking or speaking inappropriate words and stuff. We have discussed in many classes about the austerity of tongue. So the story of the lady who was expecting to get business from other people, she was thinking this person would give me money, this person would give me money, unable, and like that, she was just expecting. Anxiety was coming. Will he give me money? How much will he give me money? And stuff like that. So she was always in anxiety. Why? Because of intense desire for money. And then she became morose because no one came. And she was very disappointed. And then she felt very disgusted about her whole situation. What am I doing? Right? And then she became indifferent to that. Right? Because the work which was very binding to her, she became indifferent or neutral. And then she wrote a full song, and that's called as the Pingala Gita. Pingala was the name. A human being who is bereft of spiritual knowledge never desires to give up false sense of proprietorship over many things. Similarly, a person who has not developed a detachment never desires to give up the bondage of material body. So this Pingala, this lady, was not of great character, but after that self-realization or self-introspection, you remember in the story of Avanti Brahman also, which we have discussed, he was a very bad person in the beginning, right? Even there have been many examples of people who were very bad in the beginning, but by either through sadhu sangha or through good association or through their self-realization, they became very insightful and noble. So she is telling herself, I'm a fool, that I have given up the service to that person, that Supreme Krishna, who eternally is situated within my heart. And I have been serving these foolish people who can never satisfy. My true desires, right? So only Krishna can satisfy our true desires. And I have thereby tortured my soul. So in that way, Pingala was having this whole song in this chapter is primarily based on that. You want to hear the next guru? The guru number 18. Okay. So guru number 17 is Pingala, the prostitute, who was in the hopes of sense gratification are the root cause of all suffering. The more we think, we'll enjoy our senses, the more we'll suffer. That's the essence. Then there is a bird, Kuruvara bird, guru number 18. And then there's an interesting story of Kuruvara. So let's continue in the next chapter, the story of Kuruvara. Okay, who's going to read? Let's read this text. Anyone wants to read from here? Yes, Athar.
Once a group of large hawks who were unable to find any prey attacked another weaker hawk who was holding some meat. At that time, being in danger of his life, the hawk gave up his meat and experienced actual happiness. Hare Krishna.
So what's the idea here? That there was a small Kurvara bird or a small hawk, weaker hawk, who had some piece of flesh he was trying to eat. But as the big hawks saw that, they kind of pounded upon towards the smaller hawk, the Kurvara. And guess, if he would have not given up that, what would have happened? He would have been killed, right? Or dead. So he's saying, when this Avaduta saw this, you see, Avaduta is so observant. When Avaduta saw this episode that the small bird gave up that, okay, you take it. Leave me. At least when life is there, I can get more food. But when life is not there, what this piece of food will do, right? So sometimes, let's say someone says, yeah, let's say you have $50 in the pocket, and someone says, okay, give me that money or I'll harm you. What will we say? No, I'll not give you, right? I'll say, okay, take the money. If that person has a weapon or something, okay, take the money. Okay, I am out. You take $50. Leave me alone. Is that a good idea, or you'll fight with that person with a weapon? What will you do? What's a good idea to in that case? To let's say you have $50 in the pocket, or let's say you have an iPhone in the pocket, and they say, okay, give me the phone, otherwise I have this weapon, I may harm you. What will you do? Yes, Beyonto.
Give the money like the stuff in your pocket.
Yeah, give them and okay, Baba, you take it, because that person has a weapon. They may cause more harm. They may be stronger, right? And it's not worth fighting with a fool, especially with the weapon. That's what the hawk is teaching, and right? The Kurvara bird is teaching. Has anyone felt, maybe not, or experienced, that when you gave up something which you were holding, you felt more happiness? You were holding to it, but when you gave that up, you felt more happiness. Has anyone experienced that? It could be an object, it could be a situation, it could be something in your life. You wanted to have it, but when you gave, you felt more happiness then. Okay, maybe something to think about. So that's Guru number 18. Guru number 19, the Avadhuta says, is the child. Children are completely carefree, right? Especially like small children, 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 5-year-old. Even I think 10-year-olds or may have a little bit more responsibility than 15-year-old have more responsibility. But smaller children, they are totally like carefree, just jumping around, hanging around, eating what they want, doing what they want, just like kind of. So what can we learn from them? Any thoughts? What can we learn from the young child? What Avadhuta might have learned? Think about it. What the Avadhuta might have learned from, yes, Vidhi.
Maybe like how the child is completely dependent on the parents. I guess he should be dependent on Krishna.
Very good, because Krishna is a real father, real mother. Does a child worry about, will I eat food tonight? Does a child worry, who will pay the electric bill? Does a child worry, will I get clothes? The parents do the needful, is it not? Right? The child is completely dependent on the parents. Therefore, the child is like surrendered. The child just cries like a very small baby. The child cries and the mother comes to nurse the child. The mother comes to feed the child and put the baby to rest. And what the child does, the child just cries, right? They cannot speak even words. Oh, mama, I need food. The mom understands, the mother understands. Oh, mama, I need rest. The mother understands what the child needs. Similarly, it is said a devotee or a sadhu should be like a child. We should be childlike, but we should not be childish. Childish means throwing tantrums. No, 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 I want that chocolate. If I don't get that chocolate, I'm going to cry. Right? That's immature. That's childlike innocence, childlike simplicity, childlike surrender, childlike dependence on Krishna. Then yes, my Father, my God, my Krishna, my Supreme Lord is always with me. I don't need to worry. He's my everything. He's my true friend, true father, true mother, true everything. He's always going to help. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna iti Vishwas. That's what the Avadhuta is learning. One who is retarded and childish fool, and one who has approached the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the three modes of material nature. There are two types of people who are free from all anxiety and merged in great happiness. So basically, in this context, the idea is that one who does not know anything, like someone may be a drunkard and loitering in the gutter and then feel, oh, I am in bliss, right? But they are retarded fool. They don't have anxiety, but they're lying in the gutter. That's not real happiness or bliss. But a pure devotee is in actual bliss. Why? Because they have happiness in knowledge. Okay. So be like a child. Okay, now we'll talk about a story. And that's the Guru number 20. Okay, let's read this story from text 5. You all want to hear a story? We'll all read it together. And this will be the last Guru for today. Who wants to read? Yes, Kayavani and Vedi. Everyone, please read one verse. Avni and
What?
Vedi. Yeah,
Once
from
a
you.
marriageable young girl was alone in her house because her parents and relatives had gone that day to another place. At that time, a few men arrived at the house, specifically desiring to marry her. She received them with all hospitality.
Very good. Next, Vedi. And
The
then we
girl
are.
went, oh, sorry. The girl went to a private place and began to make preparations so that the unexpected male guests could eat. As she was beating the rice, the conch shell bracelets on her arm were colliding and making a loud noise.
Okay, we want to.
The girl went to a private place and began to make preparations so that the unexpected male guests could eat. As she was beating the rice, the conch shell bracelets on her arm were colliding and making a loud noise.
Is everyone following what's happening here? Right? So the girl was of manageable age. Few people came to kind of meet her um, as a suitable match or not. And then she had some bracelets. For those who have wore like bangles or bracelets, if you have like, let's say 5, 6 of them, and you're doing some like hand movements, what will happen? Like husking the rice in this case, or doing some anything with the hand, they will collide and make a sound, right? Chuck, 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 like some kind of sound will come. And then what she thought, she didn't want the people to feel that they are from a poor family and because they are husking the rice, doing such a menial task. Okay, so what she did, she she had, let's say, maybe 6 of them, so she broke and then she had only 2 of them. But when these 2 were colliding with each other, still there was a, a noise. Hmm? Let's see what happens further. Uh, who read the last? Leonto, did you read this one?
No.
Oh, this one you read, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Ethereal, you want to read?
The young girl feared that the men would consider her family to be poor because their daughter was busily engaged in the menial task of husking rice. Being very intelligent, the shy girl broke the shell bracelets from her arms, leaving just 2 on each wrist.
She just left 2 on each wrist. And then what happens, Mishti?
Thereafter, as the young girl continued to husk the rice, the 2 bracelets on each wrist continued to collide and make noise. Therefore, she took 1 bracelet off each arm. With only 1 left on each wrist, there was no more noise.
When there was only 1 on each wrist, there was no noise. Oh, noise. No subduer of enemy. Who is speaking this? Devaduta, right? I travel throughout the surface of the earth, learning constantly about the nature of this world, and thus I personally witnessed the lesson of the young girl. When many people live together in one place, there will be undoubtedly quarreling. Does it happen? You think it happens? At every home, something or the other happens. The more the people, the more the quarrel, right? And if only 2 people live together, there will be frivolous conversations and disagreement. Therefore, to avoid conflict, one should live alone, as we learn from the example of the bracelet of the young girl. Interesting, right? Of course, this is more for sannyasis. This is not for grihasthas. Grihasthas has family life. But the idea is that, this is more for sadhus, right? We're not talking about that you should not have a family or we should, leave our parents. That's not the idea here. The idea here at least we should have some time in isolation. How many of you like some time in isolation? Right? Where it's just you, or like yesterday only I went to a trek with, it was a very nice place. It was just me and the nature around, and of course my japa bag. It's a very good experience to have those moments. It gives times to introspection. It gives times for self-reflection, right? So try to have at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day. Or if you cannot have it daily, you can have it, okay, 2 hours a week, okay, on Sunday afternoon. This is my time, and maybe I'll just sit in the park or sit in the yard or just sit outside or sit with the nature or just maybe in the room, whatever, and do some self-introspection, or maybe just chant, or maybe just read, maybe just hear a class, right? And it is said if you have to walk fast, walk alone. But if you have to walk further, walk in group. So group has its importance, right? We always say sadhu sangha, be in the association of devotees. So these two statements are not contradictory, my friends. Here it said, okay, be alone, but we always talk about being in sangha of groups. We have to reconcile these two statements. Both have their place in our lives. Does that make sense? Are you getting it? That we have to be in the association of devotees. Yes, absolutely, very, very important. But there may be moments that you may need your quiet time, like to energize yourself, right? And depends on nature also. Some people are introverts, some are extroverts. Some get energized in being with others. Some get energized in their private space. How many of you get energized being with others? Okay. How many of you get energized in your private space? Okay. You see, it's good. There's no like right or wrong here. We are all different, right? Like the fingers, right? No two fingers are the same. So it's good to understand our nature. And that will happen when we experience different things. It's good. Okay, we'll just try to recap what we studied today. We talked about the different gurus. We've covered till a lot of gurus today, and there'll be one last session and we'll complete. So today we talked about the deer, the elephant, the honeybee, the bumblebee, right? The child, the kuruvara bird, the pingala, the fish, and the young lady. And we learned a lot of lessons. Anything struck you from today's session? If anyone wants to share a comment or a reflection. Anything really struck you? Yes, Vedi?
How that he had like four thing in like animals or insects that he learned from that got trapped by their own senses. So it could also be like, the more materialistic and attached you are to sense objects and stuff, the more or like the faster you're going towards your own destruction. So yeah, kind of like that.
Interesting. Absolutely. The more we are attached, the more we'll go faster towards self-destruction. I like the way you put it. Thank you. Anyone else? Lakshay, any thoughts? Ruhi, you have any thoughts or comments? Okay, Karina?
Hare Krishna. I just think it was a very good class. I liked how we talked about like all the rest of the groups, and I just like really enjoyed it. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, so everyone please try to memorize the Ramaya verse. Ramaya Ramabhadraya. And from this session, this is more about self-introspection, right? That you try to understand yourself more. You try to understand what habits helped you. You try to understand what things are not helping you. We all know, right? Sometimes it could be some gadget which could tempt us. It could be some sound, some movie, right? Seeing, hearing, some fragrance, some food, right? Some person, right? So we need to dovetail that. Because if we are not aware, right, we'll think that we're going in the right direction. We think that that thing, that object, that person is helping us, but actually they may lead us to destruction. So it's these lessons are more for self analysis and introspection, so we can improve ourselves. And I'm just sharing it for my own self so I can improve. So thank you everyone again. We'll pause here. I'm traveling next week and the following week, so we may have to adjust some timings for next week, but I'll keep you all informed. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.